So I decided to post them on YouTube. All right. And the I Decide on YouTube has like 50 something views. And then for some reason I put I Decide on SoundCloud and this got over 1,000+ plays out of nowhere.
Damn,
Just
that's
out of
sick.
nowhere. And it was an English and Spanish blend song.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Absolutely Cosmic Podcast.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Absolutely Cosmic Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything self-improvement from the nerdy perspective. I'm your host, Joshua Salgado, and it would be a lie if anyone ever told you that they hate music. It's a complete lie. So I have a very special guest I'd like to introduce, the talented music artist, Logfy. How are you?
Appreciate the introduction. I really like it. I like it a lot.
Hell yeah, appreciate it.
I'm good, man. I'm excited, man. Let's talk about some music. If people hate music, they don't exist. They really don't. I met one person that said that they didn't listen to music.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, what do you do?
Yeah, right?
For your life. I remember it was this interesting kid in high school. Yeah, I just remember talking to him. I was like, what music you listen to? He looked at me, he's like, I don't listen to music. I was like,
it's like, what do you do?
You listen to something.
Yeah. Right? You got a soul?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Let's talk about music. I haven't talked about music in a grip.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I was looking at some of your freaking accomplishments. Like, not only are you a music artist, but you're a content creator because you built a successful podcast and you had guests like Marcus Rodriguez, who was on The Voice, which is dope as hell. And you have dude, you're a phenomenal artist. I was looking up, I saw the song Feels Like Heaven and then Granola Bars with over 65,000 views, dude. That's freaking sick. Yeah. And it's just like, I'll click one song and you got a style. And that's one of the questions we're going to get into. But like, you have this like really hard style and then you go into it and there's another one. I'm like in my feels and I'm like, dude, how are you you're multi-capable. And then on top of that, you're an airman. On top of that, you're like a steadfast, stellar airman. I'm like, that's freaking dope. We need more veteran, content creators and musicians and artists like that out there being a little more courageous with their stuff,
Yeah, I'll be saying that too, man. Like, we're not just military. You could also, I know the military is very straight, cut forward, get your job done, go home, have a beer.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, hey, you could also be creative. You don't have to just make the military define you. Military could be a good career. It's fun. You get to meet a lot of cool people. And then, but also you can also be creative and be part of the creative world too. You don't have to be so.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, we're people too. We have things we like and dislike. Like, you know what I mean? We have hobbies and stuff outside of when we're doing our thing.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. I remember when I first started, everybody, because I was security forces first. They were like, "Do you do music? You do music? You do music?" And I'm like, I want to do music and stuff. And when I started doing podcasting, they were like, you doing podcasts? You doing a podcast? Because it's such a niche thing to be extra creative if it's not like woodworking. Security forces.
It's the same thing. Everybody, I mean, I have a t-shirt shop, but everybody makes t-shirts or does woodworking. And there's a few people we have one guy in our squadron. He's one of our pilots, but he's a stand-up comedian down in New York City. And then that's, it's pretty cool. He has his own little studio and stuff like that. And he has every week he has a little show that goes on where they roast each other. But it was the same thing. It's cool. Everybody was like, oh, I was doing Loadmaster Reacts for a while. And they're like, oh, you're making videos. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, come on. You get to live life a little, you know? It's not just the only all right, military was do 20 years, we just stay here and
just be
get to work. And you can't just it's life. You gotta live a little, you gotta experience and go out.
Yeah.
Step outside the bubble of the military.
Yeah, we're humans.
Because you can get sucked in.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I like being creative too, because when you're creative, sometimes usually the military is very easy just to have all your friends be military.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're just military friends only, this, and third. But once you get the extra hobbies and you get creative, you go on the creative artistic side of things, then you could it brings a good balance of hammer and water, he's like rock and water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit more flow with creatives.
Well, I don't know. You've probably seen in security forces, but I've seen a lot of everyone who's doing their 20, who's they're senior, they're a little bit older, and they get out, and it's like that was the military was their identity. So
Yeah.
it's like they didn't really have much. So when they get out, like you could see it in their face, they're scared. They're like at least if you have something like, you know, with like for you music, like you're a phenomenal artist, you know, when it comes time to get out, or like when you're not on base and you're doing your thing, you have something else to look forward to build, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I've seen it. Like you get like, there's the one guy like, I'm just gonna do this. Like they don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, I felt that way a few times too, because I was working full-time military police for like 3+ years, and I was still doing music on the side, but it was like I did have that other sense of identity where I do creative music and all that, and that's why last year I started pushing out a lot of music, because once I stopped being full-time, I went straight into that. I'm not full-time military anymore. But like at the first time, I'm like, dang, like what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, you have that question, like,
right?
Yeah, it's not military every day anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm DSG now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm DSG now. I'm not full-time anymore. So I'm like, yeah,
I need something. Yeah.
But like just having that something else.
Yeah.
I recommend any military person that wants to see, like, even if you're not gonna do the full 20, like just working on it, because that's another difficult thing. Like I feel like it's even like if you do the full 20, at least you have that retirement at your side, and you have that pay coming in.
Yeah.
And you built a career out of the military. It's even a little bit like more like, I guess, scary or dangerous. You don't have a plan and you do 4 years or 6 years and you just get out. And now you're just sitting there like you even got the tie of the military on you as the retiree. You're just floating in the water now.
Yeah, you're just like, what do I do? And like, I don't know. I'm sure as when you hit the DSG, because I felt that after the deployment, we were literally like, I literally had training. I was on like MEST, and then I had maybe 2 weeks before deployment orders started, and then I got back. And I was like, do I go to school? Like, what do I do? So I enrolled in school, and I was like, this kind of sucks. And I was like guard bonus. I was coming up doing training and stuff, but I was like, I need to figure it out. So that's why I was like, I got to make videos, or like I was doing photography stuff for a little bit too. So I feel you on that. It's like,
I remember because the first time we ever met, I know it was before you left for your deployment. The first time we ever met, because I also do videography too.
Hell yeah.
We were filming at Gibbs' house.
Yeah.
A short film. That's the first time I ever met you.
Dude, yeah.
Like a few years ago. Yeah. I remember that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many people I showed? I was like, you know, it was just us three, like service members. Like we were just boys from like student flight and stuff on base. And we just like decided one day we were going to hang out, and like we didn't have no plan, no script, no nothing. We just went with it. And they're like, really? They're like, that came out good. They're like, you guys like know what you're doing. I was like, holy shit. Thanks. I was like, we were just messing around, you know, we created the story on the fly.
Yeah, man, something about this. You just something that's get into it, man. You don't have to think too hard about it. Just start doing something, and then everything will fall into place.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
So for you, for things falling in place, well, how did music fall in place? How'd that passion fall in place? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So when it comes down to music, like I always had a thing for music. I started taking music, like getting my own studio equipment and making music myself. In 2017, I had some friends. I had a friend that was already doing music, and then he was a producer. He's already doing big. His name is Freddie Duco. He was already doing a lot of like big like numbers, like getting millions of views on SoundCloud, having 100,000s of views, having like fans and all that. People knowing his name. I had another friend that who did a lot of rapping, and I remember we were just like always in the car, and I was always into music. Like my music. Making music started that like there to like make music and put it out. Yeah. It was like me and him were just in the car one day. I was like, yo, we were just freestyling together, and I was like, yo, we can do this.
Like, hell yeah.
We can do this. And I remember asking, I was like, yo, where do we get equipment? Yeah. And he's like, you go Guitar Center and get your equipment. Yeah. And I was like, and after that, after you told me we could go to Guitar Center and I started just making music. And from then, so 2017 is when I started like creating music and putting it out. At that point, like my first song came out. Like after that, like a few months later, my first song came out. I have it on. It's not my first ever song I put out, but like my first song ever is on SoundCloud, like in 2018, early 2018. But I started making music. I always loved music. Yeah. As a kid, it didn't last long, but I used to write my own raps. Hell yeah. For my brother in my notebook. And he used to laugh at me and bring it to my mother and just laugh. I used to have a song called I used to try to like, cause I'm Caribbean, I'm half St. Lucian, Puerto Rican, and my family listens to a lot of reggae and and reggaeton, I didn't understand the language back then. So I used to just say gibberish all the time. Try to rap. I tried to rap reggae when I was younger. My brother would be like, what are you saying? That doesn't make sense. Because I wasn't saying nothing. I just heard nothing to me because I didn't understand the language and just repeated what I heard.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actual vowels and like the verbation of the word, whatever. And then I got into school. I played the violin. I played the recorder. Everybody plays the recorder, I feel like. I played the baritone. I played the trombone, and I played the French horn. So I was in band for a while. I knew how to read music. If I had to go back, I probably could still read music. And then I left band, and then I'm really big into EDM. So like, even though I don't put out EDM, I I'm a big fan and still a big fan of dubstep. So I listened to a lot of dubstep when it first came out.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever made beats. It was on this program. I forgot what it was called. I think it was still called Pagan something. It was a free program on my computer when I was like a freshman in high school. I used to make dubstep beats. And then I had a class in high school, it was a production class, where they showed you how to make production beats, like hip hop beats and just like any like instruments and cutting up and sampling and stuff like that. And then I used to just like when I was into teenager too, I used to just like freestyle by myself. Like I'm not even the best freestyle because freestyle is like more like a muscle. You got to practice. It's like an art form. Like so, like you can have really good artists that don't know how to freestyle just because you got to practice that. But I used to freestyle just by myself, just looking in the mirror and things like that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if I say like when I started like trying to make music and put it out, it started 2017. Actually, right after I finished basic training in tech school for security forces, I came back and I didn't start school yet. Came back in the fall, and then that's when I was like, man, I want to do music. I really like this stuff. I always did that. I always enjoyed it. Like that's always something I like. Music
really.
Thing. And then after that, it just kept going. Like, you know, when it came down to it, so like 2017, 2018, I put out music. I actually was dating somebody, ex-girlfriend that I hated. How my music career started. It was like I had a lot of people that are close to me that didn't want me to do it. Like, yeah, at the time, I had this ex-girlfriend that called me embarrassing because I wanted to do music. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, it set me off to a point like where it's just like don't do music. Like I was trying to conform to how people wanted me to do it and things like that. Of course, that didn't last. You don't have somebody that supports you. Like my girlfriend now, I love my girlfriend right now. Like if you don't have nobody that doesn't like support you, and it's cut ties, definitely. But like I definitely, as I progress with music, like it definitely got, it gets more and more serious, and I get better and better as I go. That's one thing. If I ever stopped, like I can never stop. I'll regret it. So like. Last year, you mentioned it. Last year, I gained there was a video I put out. I'm like 65,000. I'm a small time local artist. Okay. I have nothing. I never done anything super big. So I was even surprised when I was like, oh shit, 65,000 views out of nowhere. I was like, all right, and it was a good song too. It's called "Feel Like Heaven," where I'm just kind of rapping about like, and then Gibbs, we both know Gibbs. Gibbs is a producer himself. He made the beat, and he sent it to me, and I just kind of wrote and freestyled at the same time to it. And the song is really based off just like two things, like spirituality, and then also it talks about like just if you're a Christian, I say three of us that came, but none of us have left. Yeah. In the first lyric, it just talk about like I'm talking about the mind, body, and spirit. Or you could, if you're Christian, you could think about like the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Trinity. And that's why I say, like, I'm just talking about how you have to that's remember the truth. Who you are.
I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people get lost, especially nowadays. It's easy to get lost, and not just from a spiritual perspective. Like,
so like, be careful.
How many people know themselves and know what they stand for? So it's like the only person that can change that and affect that is the good man upstairs. You know what I mean? So that's actually really fucking beautiful, dude. That's dope as hell.
Because I'm very metaphoric in the song, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That with that, and that's why I felt like it went well because I didn't even change the name of the song.
Yeah.
That's the name of the song that Gibbs gave it, so that's why I just like kind of stuck with it. Feels like heaven. Feels like heaven, right?
Good man.
Be careful. You know what I'm saying? I talk about like be careful who's
exactly, dude. That's
telling
dope.
you.
Hell yeah, man.
Who you are and what you do, because you might act on a thought and realize it's not even that thought is not even yours. I actually said that in the song. Like, don't worry about what they say. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what they tell you. Be guided by yourself. Only you can, like who you are at the end of the day. But like, man, like I don't know. Music has always been like, ever since I started, I never wanted to stop. Like I actually through the process. So when I first started, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't even know how to really. I was not a good rapper.
Yeah.
I was not that good of a lyricist or anything like that. I had one thing I'll say, I definitely had a talent for it because I could formulate a song and it wouldn't sound like, oh my God, stop. Like it'll sound like, all right, I see potential in you.
Yeah.
That's what my friends used to say a lot. Like I could see the potential in you. Because I had a friend that was already doing it. He was freaking nasty with it. So like I definitely just worked on the craft over the years. And what helped too was basically I didn't want to spend a lot of money on other people making my songs. So I also took into account, let me learn how to audio engineer. So I know how to mix my own vocals. And then a step beyond that, I also wanted to make my own beats. Not every beat. I don't really care. I'm not that big of a producer, but I will make most of the songs I have, like that's like 50-50. 50% of them are my beats and the other half are probably not. And I'll make my own beats. And then even step forward, excuse me, I got like the hiccups.
That's sick, dude. That's dope.
A step forward, I had somebody record my first music video. I just didn't like how it came out. I could tell you rushed it and all that.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, it happened in 2019, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna try to find a way to make my own music video. So I also record all the videos that you've seen. Like I recorded those myself too and edited it myself. Yeah. So like it takes more pride. I'm always working on the craft. It's gonna keep getting better and better because I'm not gonna stop. But I'm glad to see how far I came because now since 2017, it's 2024 now. That's like 7 years of like just right 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 7 years now of just doing it myself.
Yeah.
Where like I'm learning how to audio engineer, learning how to edit videos, learn how to produce beats, learn how to formulate and produce a song cohesively. And it just keeps getting better. I like that. Now, like, since I took the time to learn these skills, I don't have to depend on anybody else waiting on their like unless I want to work with them and create a project together. I don't have to wait and I could just like kind of like, all right, I got an idea. Yeah. Let me just make it now. Because I took the time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. So like a lot of those songs, like I don't know, I really like where I'm going. Like I made my girlfriend knows how to speak like a little bit of Spanish, and she speaks French, and I'm half Puerto Rican, so like the vernacular of speaking Spanish kind of comes out my mouth naturally. I don't know how to speak Spanish though, but like I remember I don't know how to speak Spanish well at all. Like I had like pequeño, like just not a lot. And there was a song that I made. My girlfriend also, she's an artist too. She knows how to sing.
Not saying.
And I showed her a song. I was making I just did a song. It's called "I Decide," where I'm just rapping. I'm like it's kind of like a sing rap, and then like I kind of spoke gibberish, but made it sound like Spanish. And it was like a really good flow because I could do really good flows. I just didn't know how to speak Spanish. And she's like, no, this sounds really good. You're saying anything. You're not saying no words.
Yeah.
So she decided to write Spanish. She decided to write a Spanish verse that fit my flow. And like, so the song's called "I Decide," and I put it out right before I left. And basically, the song I get like SoundCloud is probably the platform I don't get no views. Like sometimes I get on like 50, like before I used to get a lot of my views used to go to SoundCloud. I get 100, 200, 300, 500. Yeah. And then like just randomly, it's better exposure. This small time. But like I was on a streak of getting like 2 plays every song I put out just on SoundCloud because I was putting everybody towards my YouTube, and I was getting views on my YouTube, which I'm getting 65, I'm getting 1,000 views here, 500 views here, so I'm getting like because YouTube pays more too at the end of the day, and then. Yeah, it's definitely better exposure, and plus, like people want to see the visuals. They want to see the video and all that. And I just like, I was about to leave, and my computer broke, so I couldn't really do as much as I wanted to do. But I had these 2 songs in my email, so I decided to post them on YouTube. All right, and I decided on YouTube has like 50 something views, and then for some reason I decided on SoundCloud, and this got over 1,000 plus plays out of nowhere.
That's
out of nowhere. And it was an English and Spanish blend song.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, like but it just shows you like just the same thing with you too, like just being consistent. It doesn't mean you gotta be big time famous millionaire everywhere's face, but like you just build. Like I definitely can say from all the work I put in last year, I built up a small following and a small fan base.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, like it literally, I don't care if it's like 10 loyal fans or 5 loyal fans. Like I got that now. I got like 5. I know I have a guaranteed 5 to 10 people going to play.
Listen, no matter what, whenever you drop something, they're downloading it. Well,
they're gonna play it. They're gonna play it, and like that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like I was at the gym. I don't know. I probably told one of my buddies I had on a podcast. But I was at the gym, and this is when I like started the clothing brand and I was like dabbling with the podcast and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I was talking with a guy, and he like resells vintage clothing. So that's where the conversation came up. And he's like, yeah, you got to get on social media. Yeah. He's like, you got to get on social media. He's like, I had a following of like 2,000 people. He's like, nothing big. He's like, but it's kind of like a currency thing. He's like, if you don't got it, you're not really relevant. And I told him, I said, and this was in the first few weeks. I'm like, I got like 120 followers on Instagram. That's all I had open for social media. I was like, but I'm like, think about it. That's 120 people. Like, can you fit 120 people in the sauna? Like, he's like, no, he's like, but he looked at me weird. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, think about it. You got 1,000 people. It'd be crazy if 1,000 people showed up to the gym right now, like all at once. Right. And he's like, you're kind of right. And he like walked out. But I was like, even if you got just a small following, the thought of like even 1, 2, 3, there are people that are taking the time to listen to your music or listen to your podcasts and stuff. And then you even said staying consistent. Like I think it is, the stat is like if you hit 20 podcast episodes, you're in the top 1% of podcasters. Something crazy like that. Like the bar is really low. So as long as you stay consistent, you're successful. You're gonna. There's no way you can go down. You know what I mean?
That's so true. That is so true. Like because I've done podcasting and I stopped. I literally stopped because like on the back end, things didn't work out. I didn't see eye to eye of certain people. I done things on my part that people didn't like. It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
Because I mixed in like I guess personal. I didn't know how to separate the business with personal.
Yeah.
Personal things that happen in life. So I stopped that. But then, it definitely showed me a lot and learned a lot from that. And, like for me, my podcast is doing well. I got recognized by people. I was like, this is interesting. I was doing like a lot of, I'll say one thing with a podcast, if you're starting off, like we start interviewing local people around your area, then like you definitely build it quicker instead of trying to like get people, like it doesn't matter. You could go anywhere, but like from my experience, I was interviewing people in the local area just to find out what was going on and like how's your life and like, oh, you make a musician or you make clothes.
Yeah.
And I remember I was driving in Hartford and I was just driving. Some guy pulled up to my car and rolled down his window. He's like, hey, you. I was like, yeah. He's like, you gotta make podcasts? I was like, yeah.
Whoa.
He's like,
whoa.
Yeah, out of nowhere. I was like, he's like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. I'll be watching it. I like him a lot.
Damn.
I'm like, I appreciate that. Thank you. And this was random. Like I was in the north end of Hartford, just driving past McDonald's and all the car dealerships.
Damn.
Near Jennings Road, and they just pulled up near the light, like just randomly.
What? That's
and I'm just
sick.
Like, yeah. So literally, just like I was like, oh, that showed me right there. Interviewing local people around your area. You don't know how much people they know or who's going to tune in. That's because true. Guess what? Like, they say you're only 5 steps away or 5 people away from the person you want to get in touch with or something like that. Well, just like, not saying like I want to get in touch with the people they know, just like that person knows these people and these people know that people and these people know that people. So it just kind of spread out. So I was like, oh, wow. And then like, eventually, because like I realized I was interviewing people in my local area, people have word of it, and I used to reach out. It's like, hey, you want to go on the podcast and all that, to the point where I have like it was a small time podcast,
Yeah.
but it definitely had the potential to blow up, because what started happening was I was getting messages every day. Hey, can I get an interview on your podcast? Can I go on your podcast and get an interview? Because the one thing, it doesn't matter. Like people do like, oh, I want the platform. Well, people want the views and some people want the clout. But one thing a lot of people want just in general is a platform to talk on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just want a platform to talk on. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. As long as people want to be heard and want to be talked to, and they want people to get their message out. So like, that's when I realized it. I started that podcast because that was basically, I changed my channel of my podcast. I haven't been putting out podcasts at all since 2021. But my podcast used to be so my music channel, I had about 15 to 20 subscribers already on it before anything else, or 25. Yeah, about between 20 and 25 subscribers I already had on it.
Yeah.
It was like that's where all my main music was. Then I switched it over just to doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Here's the dilemma too. I was a musician first. I wasn't a podcast host.
Yeah.
All right. So I realized, like, dang, this is my channel. This is my name.
Yeah.
Like, now, like, I didn't want to switch over. So I finally, like, once like the podcast kind of like fell off and like I stopped doing them, I switched over my podcast to a different channel. So whenever I ever pick that up, if I ever pick that up, I could do it there.
Yeah.
And but from 25, let's just say 25 subscribers is let's say easy. I started with 25 subscribers, and from doing the podcast, I was doing consistent, like pushing out like at least 2 to 3 episodes a week at the peak.
Damn, that's a lot, actually, dude.
Yeah, at the peak, and I gained like throughout that, I got to like 115 subscribers.
Damn.
You know,
yeah,
like 115 subscribers, just interviewing people and like just being consistent.
Yeah.
And then of course I lost some once I stopped, and then I switched over. This is kind of like comparing it back to music. This is cool because now I'm at like for subscriber count, since I started doing music, I started off like my subscriber count dropped down to like 109, 108. And then when I started putting back up music on my channel, and it's strictly music, I'm at 287 now. Yeah. Right now, currently. I got like randomly, I got 2 subscribers out of nowhere. Randomly. So, but yeah, you just gotta stay consistent. You don't stop.
Yeah, that's the key. I think anything in life, like if you, the only time you fail at something is when you give up. Like, because at the end of the day, you never know what's gonna work, and even if you think it was like, your shittiest workout, that might have been the workout that gets you to keep going or being able to lift heavier. Yeah, exactly.
That's the bridge right there. That shittiest workout you didn't want to do.
Exactly.
Is the reason why it's your lifestyle now.
Yeah.
Because you didn't go that day, you would have made it a habit of not going.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Dude, so
exactly.
Again, when I was going through your stuff, I literally downloaded Go and Young Meat on my Apple library, because I was like, dude, like this, I'm gonna work out to this. Like, this is dope.
Oh, you like? Dude, I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. Go literally gave me Ja Rule vibes. Was that where you kind of like the chorus a little bit? There was I was like, this sounds really familiar. And I was thinking about it all day today at work. I'm like, where have I heard that style from? I was like, that kind of gives me Ja Rule vibes. And then Young Meat, I was blown away. I was like, dude. And then again, looking into your music, you're in different perspectives. Every song you're telling a story, and you're rapping or you're singing, and then it's just different messages. I don't know, dude. Where does that where did you discover that you had that kind of multiple style kind of style?
So discovering, honestly, I always in my mind, I guess, I always try to be very introspective with myself, and try to learn from a lot of the stuff that happens to me, even even if it's the most minute interaction with somebody. I always try to think why did I get this reaction? Why certain things happen this way, and try to really think about it. And then whatever the lesson is or realization I have, just kind of think about that a lot. So when it transfers to music, I realize being a little bit more authentic of how I feel,
yeah,
and how I express it. I want people to listen to the music and really just like hear the story, you know, like, and like I don't want to rap about being phony or anything like that. I don't want to make stuff like, because like, you know, like the industry standard, like you could blow it. Honestly, you can blow it pretty quick if you kind of like sell yourself short, or just not saying everybody blows up selling yourself short. Yeah. But like I definitely do believe there's easier ways for getting attraction if I rapped a different way. Yeah. You know, so I just, you know, I always wanted to stay true to who I am. So like, even if like you go to like a song that's like singing or hard, they're still similar. You could still like, people always tell me like, and I always felt like this too, like you could always tell it's still me. Like even if I'm rapping hard or if I'm rapping like this, I'm talking about something. Yeah. So discovering the music, like once I realized I could really rap, honestly, it was with my friend. I knew I could rap, but like I just like there's a point where you're like, oh, I could rap really good. I could really make a song. Like, I got this is nice. Yeah. And it was funny. At the time, it was 2018, and we were it was my friend who made music, my friend who was a producer, and we were in the studio. And I was very esoteric with like I was always trying to rap something like I was trying to, I don't know, like be conscious or something like that. I don't know. You just kind of figure yourself out when you first start making music. Yeah. And we were all making a song, 3 songs together. We never even put it out, but it's a really good song. We just never put it out because they didn't. Some people didn't want to put it out, which is fine. But I remember we were in the studio, and I got on the mic, and I was like, I wasn't going along with what the guys were talking about. Yeah. So it was a little bit more of a street song. Yeah. And I started like, instead of like staying in context, I was talking about, I'm gonna put, and I punch through your chest and have the heart and the fire and go all the way through. Like and metaphorical then, like, with it. Yeah. Yeah, I got off the microphone and my friend came up, he's like, what are you talking about?
They thought you were on something.
Yes. He's like, yo, we're rapping about street shit. Rap about what we're talking about. Yeah. Think about something, all right? And he's like, go away and write something. Yeah. And I literally went upstairs. And like I seen some stuff growing up as a kid, like it wasn't all peaches and cream. Yeah. So like I kind of like just tapped into like real life. Yeah. For a moment. This is the first time like, if it's not like a love song, because I felt like it was easy to talk about love. Yeah. In a rap song or sing song, because like everybody experienced that, so you could just talk about that. But I was like, you know what? We're talking about something else. So, like, let me just look into life and tell a story. And then I sat there and I wrote a song. I came back down. And I just like went off on the mic, and like everybody was blown away because they didn't expect that from me. And that's when I realized like that moment right there when he told me like stop rapping out of you. That's why he didn't say that, but that's what I got from it. Stop rapping out of you. Start rapping like within. Like start like whatever like what I got from that was whatever was in you. Yeah. Rap it out. Stop trying to formulate all these like different type of stories that's outside of you. You have nothing to do with like you punching through someone's heart with a fire has nothing to do with you. All right. That's like, I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's like, that's where I kind of discovered. It was like 2018. I really figured it out. So like with Go and like, it was like you talking about Young Meat and Go. Young Meat was like literally off of a breakup. I was mad. Yeah. I was mad. And honestly, that was like, on Apple Music, that's like my most played song. It's not my most played song ever anymore. Yeah. But when I first put out, like, I knew something like, I had to like, sometimes I had to be consistent to build a fan base. Like, I don't have, my music has like, I'd be honest with myself. My music is more like, I have to be consistent and throughout time, I'm going to create a fan base. Yeah. It's not going to be like that one song is going to do it for me. Yeah. I have to overall just build it in general, which I'm fine with. I was never wrong. I never hated that idea. But Young Me, I remember when I put that song out, it randomly, like, this was back when IG, like, this was like 2019. Instagram, like, it's very easier. I feel like it's easier now to get views and followers. Yeah. Because how TikTok is and all that. Oh, yeah. But, like, before you could even advertise on IG, it was like 2019. I put out a song. I just put out a snippet, and it got, like, over 2,000 views and likes and stuff like that on Instagram. Like, this is Instagram back then. Before it was harder to, like, when you saw somebody who had 10,000 followers on Instagram, like back in 2015, 2017, 2018, you're like, oh. But now you see someone with 10K, like, okay, like,
Yeah, that's like normal.
It's still significant. It's still significant, but it wasn't as like before when you had 10K back in like the 2010s. Like, it's crazy to say that's a different decade now. Back in the decade, it was more impactful than it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it was random. Like I got a whole bunch of views, and like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, this song." And it was based off me like breaking up with a girl, and like I was rapping about. I'm like, basically saying like, oh, these girls want to hurt your heart, and then they want to call us dogs after that. You know what I'm saying? But really, I'm just saying like, I was never a dog at first. Like, this is my personal experience. Some people just come out the womb as dogs. You know what I'm saying? They dogged out already. Yeah. But like, before, like, just me personally, I was with a girl, I get my heart broke or whatever, and then now like, like you want to call me a dog now. But like I wasn't a dog before I met you, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like a push and blame. I'm blaming you and something like that. And then Go was actually, it was weird. This Young Meat was based rapping about the breakup, but I made Go like right after the breakup. Like I just I was like, I ain't gonna stop. I was screaming like, just screaming and shit, and just like
going hard.
I don't know. I really like those songs. I haven't listened to them in a while because I've just been making like new music. Like I have some new ideas. Like one song I really want you to listen to. I made a remix to Tory Lanez "Hurt Me."
Okay.
Yeah. The cover arts are a little bit more provocative. I have this girl. She was like modeling, and I asked her if she was doing naked modeling, and I asked her because like the song is based off of really is kind of like actually fully accepting who you are as a person, and also accepting who people are too. Yeah. So it kind of it plays off the polarities of people. And like I even start off the song. The song is like the first lyric is a catcher. Like I say, can we talk about that pussy? Like off rip. Damn. Yeah. I literally say, can we talk about that pussy? I sing it. Yeah, because it got me in my mind. It's always in my mind. Like vagina, man. Like we always think about it, right? Yeah. But I really, I recommend anybody who listens to this, like go listen to that song because I really like how that came out. It's a very like modern '80s techno like synth vibe song. Okay. Hell yeah. That before Tory Lanez went to jail, he was on that wave. Yeah. So honestly, the beat is phenomenal. I even recommend. I pay homage to the song itself. It's a Trippie Redd and Tory Lanez song called "Hurt Me." It's really, really good. Can we cuss on this? I want to say how much.
Yeah, we can cuss. Yeah.
It's really fucking good. Like, it's really fucking good, man. Like that song is amazing, and then like the beat itself too was so phenomenal that I was like, I want to do a remix of this song. Like, fuck it, if I get copyrighted, I don't care. I'm gonna recreate a version of this song that I think fits it. Yeah. So if after this podcast you want to go listen to that, bro, like,
I'm gonna check it out.
Like it's like it's part of my new music where it's just really. I love that song. I don't want to talk about it. It's just like it's so like I don't know how I just created one night. I was supposed to be doing something, but that's how it is with creative. I feel like I think all creatives go through like, oh, you got some like shit you have to do, but then you get the creative bug. You're like, fuck, you put everything else to the side and you start creating.
Let me get this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me get it out. Yeah. So like literally, I was supposed to go to bed at like 11 o'clock because I want to wake up and work out and do a whole bunch of read my books and shit like that. But I was like, you know what? I ended up staying up all the way to 4 o'clock in the morning, finishing creating the song. Hell yeah. And then making the cover art and all that. The cover art didn't even come until like I'm listening to the song and I was like, the only thing that fits this is like I have to talk about the girl. She's literally the girl I have is literally on her knees, like she's like modeling. The background's pink and she's just naked. I blurred out. I X'd out her breasts. Yeah. I X'd out her breasts and stuff like that. And you can't see her vagina or anything. It's just like a side shot, all that. Yeah. But it's funny thinking about how I even got that picture. Yeah. But just like I love making music. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing. Like I love the military, but I feel like anybody, you're creative. You know what I'm saying? So you get like if all of a sudden we can make this a living.
Yeah, dude, that'd be the dream. It's just like wake up, do some podcasts. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like, and I think I want to circle back to like authenticity and just like getting that creative bug out. And like, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of guy that like when I'm in the shower, I think about how I'm gonna debate the world. Like how, like I'll come up with some random speech or something. Like I even like if I'm like in the bug or in the mood, like, like in the mood of like talking about or doing photography or videography, I'll be like, dude, like I could make this little short film. You know, I could shoot like I'd be thinking like if I wake up at this time and like shoot like it could be a light pole, but I'm like I want to get this photo or like I'm a whatever, you know. It's that same kind of thing. Like you said, like how many nights have I stayed up and I've been like scheming? I'm like, okay, you know, I'm thinking about for weeks, like how am I gonna make this podcast?
Making a diabolical plan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when it's like on my own and I'm like, I'm gonna spit like something. Like I have a message to tell, you know what I mean? And I feel like you're the same way. And then it's at the same time, I have a lot of people who are, you know, they might even be doing YouTube or they're like, you know, the algorithm, this, the algorithm, that. I'm like you got to follow it to some extent or have some, you know, general consensus. But at the same time, like I want to be authentic. If it doesn't get me views like in the millions or whatever, like everybody's chasing, like, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather be real and just do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Because I looked into the algorithm. The algorithm, what I realized, the algorithm, if you follow a trend, the algorithm will support you.
Yeah.
But also, the algorithm will support you if you start being consistent.
Yeah.
One thing I realized, like, what I told myself, I didn't care. I was like, you know what? One thing I feel like that did help with getting views on YouTube, just landing a video, because I feel like, okay, I hit the algorithm at one point. My video hit over 65,000 views. I'm like, oh shit. Like now I can say like, I feel like this last year in general, of all platforms in total, with YouTube bringing in the most amount of views, I'm pretty sure, I didn't add everything up, I'm pretty sure I hit over 100,000 displays and views just in YouTube and not just YouTube, but all platforms, from streaming platforms.
That's sick. That's
other
really
stuff
good.
And like SoundCloud and all that. Just from that, I'm pretty sure I hit over 100,000.
That's
just
really good
in total last year. So like what I realized, you know what? I told myself in the beginning of June or late June, I was like, you know what? I don't matter what it is. I'm going to put out, because I have enough songs to do it now. I'm going to put out a music video every Monday.
Hell yeah.
Until I can't no more.
Yeah. And
then I did it. And I'll never forget, like, because it's like, of course, I didn't hit no big numbers, but like it's a small, like, to me, from my data, that's my viral moment, like a viral moment for me, like getting 65 when you first see it.
That's good.
Like the video got like the first day it got 60 views, and then like I put out another song, and then the next week I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, is that 100? Yeah. Oh, 200. Whoa, 400.
Yeah.
Did it just hit 1,000? I was like, it can't keep going. Oh, 10,000. Okay. It's not going to hit 20K. 20K. It's not going to hit 40K. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. Am I going to hit 100K? No, I didn't hit 100K. But like, oh, wow. 65,000.
Yeah.
So people do want to listen to me, huh?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's what I said.
Dude, you got skill. And I think like going back to what you said about consistency, like a lot of people chase virality. And like you said, it's the trend. It's like what's going, like what a few weeks ago, like the Stanley Cups were popular and we saw everybody making videos talking about that, doing that, right? But what if you're so consistent you become the trend? You know what I mean?
Like the transcender.
Exactly.
The trendsetter. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
This is a reference to Zoe. I think was it Victorious? Victorious. I think it's Victorious or Zoe 101. One of those. And the guy was like, man, that's dripping.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you saying? Yeah. He's like, you'll see, dripping is cool. You say dripping when it's cool. And then everybody was saying dripping. He's like, you see, I started that. He's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. But like, I'm not sure it was Victoria's or Zoe 101, but it was this guy, he started saying dripping in one of the shows. And it kind of goes into reality. Like, we started saying dripping at one point. I don't think too much people say, that's dripping, bro. Like, we used to say, that's dripping, you know? Like,
exactly. You know.
So that's true what you say. That's very true.
Yeah, because like be sitting there and it's easy too. I'm sure, I don't know if you've kind of fallen in the rut. You're like, oh man, like I'm trying to, like, you're like, what am I doing? Like they're not getting that many views or this isn't working out. And then it's like, wait a second though. It's like going back, we're circling back. It's like, those are people that watch my video. Like that's people that listen to my song. You know what I mean? It's kind of that thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like there's been times because I'll say this: when I first started, like I want that first viral hit. Just send me flying rockets. Because when I first started, I was 19 years old, like making music and putting music out. And now I'm 25. So literally, like that first viral, when you're young, you're like, I want it now. Give it to me. But like you get sometimes you gotta take a step back. Like, yo, these are people really tuning in and listening to music. And one thing he's gonna say is like, someone has this quote about bamboo. Yeah. Right. Bamboo, if you don't know, they say bamboo grows really fast, but people don't know that bamboo stays underground for 3 years.
I love this story.
And then at the point it's time to grow, it sprouts and grows as tall as it can for like the next 3 weeks. It just blows up. Yeah. And that's why, like, you know, the quote is like, be like bamboo. You know what I'm saying? Like, build yourself up, keep going. Because when it's time, I feel like the thing is, there's a double-edged sword, right? Because when you blow up, you have all your fame. You got everything. You don't know how to handle that. Exactly. Or you just made it. Like you haven't been in your field for too long to really create music and all that. So I've seen it throughout the years where like artists would blow up and they don't have a foundation behind them because they haven't built it yet. Yeah. You know, some do last because they're just chosen. Oh yeah, you grew up and you knew what you were doing. Yeah. But those are just it's still a small number of people who even blow up. So even when you blow up, are you gonna even like stay consistent and be able to create that foundation? So I'll say like with like at least the way I'm going, the point where I do get you know, as I grow and get more and more fans as the years go on, I know how to handle. I know how to create music. I have I have this whole back catalog of music. You know what I'm saying? That goes all the way far back to 2018. So like, it does like regardless if someone finds one of my songs, they already have over 50 songs for me. Yeah. Where they can just like, hey, this is how you sounded like when you first started. It's not as good as this, or I really like this song when you first started. You should do this. Like, I just have a whole back catalog. So that's one thing that even though it's taken longer to get where I am now, people who do discover me, it's not just one song. Yeah. And even you, like, I'm not sure. I know you have, this is episode 6, because I did watch one of them, but I was like, I forgot what episode that was.
So this is a little trickery because this is episode 21, filmed episode 21. Oh, yeah. But I published episode 9's coming out on Monday this coming week.
Yeah, because I remember like last week because we were in the group chat. You posted, I think it was episode 4 or something like that, and I wouldn't say I watched all of it, but I watched a little bit of it. And I was like, oh, this is cool, like the Cosmic Podcast and all that. And you have a really good introduction. I was like, I like this. I always thought about when I was doing podcasts to make it do over voice over IP. I'm so IT focused right now. Video call. Yeah. But I never did it. But I was like, this is a nice format. I like it. Like you could have your own like green screen, like effects and all that, how it looks, and it's cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's really good work ethic. You got the episode 21 film too. Like, now you have a whole back. That's how I did it a few times. There was one week I was going on vacation with last year, and I was like, you know what? I got to put out 3 songs. Yeah, I got to make 3 songs and record all of them because I drop a video every Monday. Yeah. So if it's your full-time job, it's pretty easy to have a whole bunch of videos recorded. Because honestly, this is my full-time job. I can really go at it hard and probably have, half the year to almost the whole year done within a month and a half of videos and content. Maybe 2 months because I got to edit and record and stuff like that. So honestly, like, I don't even know. I'm going off on something else. But yeah, man, exactly what I was saying. That's what I mean. Yeah. Oh no, I was talking about consistency. About the podcast. Doing like once like you already have episode 21 recorded. Yeah. So if episode blows up or just catches virality, like you already have what's coming. Like you're already prepared, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Like you already have it coming. You know, like this is what I do, and then even if it takes longer, since how you're being so consistent, you actually have. Let's say episode 50 is the one. Yeah. You have 49 episodes where people can
listen to.
Binge you. The one thing about podcasts, like people binge you. Yeah. I'll say another thing too. Podcasts, I remember looking at my stats. They watch them. They really watch them for hours. Oh, you put an hour in, like you really get consistent viewer. Yeah. And you get some really nice comments too. That was like some nice comments I got. Yeah. Because you talk about some really good topics and it resonates with people.
Yeah, 100%.
And stuff like that.
100%. I feel like it's cool too. The biggest thing was like, so it's like self-improvement from the nerdy perspective, but like before I started this, like there was a long time and it's just intimidating. I don't know if you've ever been in that position, but it's like, before you start something creative, especially being in the military, because it's like you have military, which is very structured, and then you have creative, which is like do whatever, just experiment, like create.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like before I started any of the podcast stuff, I was super nervous. I was like, I don't know, like it's intimidating. Like I don't know if I got it. And then like as each episode's like being filmed, I've noticed it's getting a little easier. Like, you know, it's enjoyable seeing everybody's perspective. That's the coolest thing is like I'm talking with you, talking about music and your story. And then like, I'll talk with like, I interviewed, and this is coming out, I don't know what episode it is, but I interviewed a former Army Ranger from 3rd Battalion, and he's a business owner now and stuff like that. And like, he has a family and kids, and he just talked about his experience that way. And he's like, he has a little bit of a social media page now he's built up. He's doing really cool stuff too. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's just cool, like getting the perspective. And most people that I've talked to on the outside, they're like, oh, I'm not interesting enough. I'm like, I guarantee you have at least one story that's hilarious or sick or cool or like wild as hell that you could tell. Exactly. Or one message, or you do something that's interesting. Just because you have a 9 to 5 doesn't mean you're boring. You know what I mean? Everybody's got something to talk about, you know?
That is true. That's one thing. And then also as the host, you get better at talking to people.
Yeah.
Like you get better at talking to people. Like you know when to, like, okay, if this is a dead moment, you know what questions you can fall on to.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like I almost like the greatest example, like a guy way, like think about like talking to a girl. Yeah. Like a lot of guys will just throw everything at him. Like you're so pretty, you're so this, you're so this. They throw everything at him. But like if you like talk to her as a person, you're talking to her like, oh, how you doing? If there's a dead moment in the conversation while you're talking to her, then you ask her for her name. You don't have to ask for her name right away.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I realized with podcasting too. Like, you learn how conversation is.
Yeah.
And like, this is ever like a dead moment. And if you haven't exasperated all your questions, then you can always fall onto something like, that's cool. So what was your most favorite song?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, just
and then it goes into a whole nother topic, you know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I like. People might think, oh, podcasting, that's not making money. Like, there's so much. Like, one thing about being creative in this type of realm, it builds like your social skills really well, because you have to sit there and talk to some people. And I tell you, I had some people on my podcast. I'm like, why am I interviewing you?
Like, bro,
I met, there's this one guy. Shout out to him, but he was definitely an interesting character. His name was Book. All right, Book. And he had a mask on that looked like Bane. And he was like completely bald, and he like had a lot of one answer questions. Like, that's good. Yeah.
You're just like, come on.
And then like he had some other crazy stuff. Like, shout out to you if you tune into this podcast or anything, bro. Like, hope you're doing well in life.
Yeah.
But he had these crazy stories. Like, yeah, man. Like, I beat this guy up for his lighter because he wanted it back. And I'm like, why did you do that? Like, it's just like you meet some interesting characters. Yeah. You meet some people like, I don't want you back on my podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to get everything like that. So honestly, I really enjoyed podcasting.
Yeah.
But right now, for me, I want to pursue more of my music because I was an artist at first.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see, one day, because my girlfriend tells me about it too, like, am I going to start my podcast back up or anything like that? Because, people did enjoy it and people did tune in.
Yeah, dude, it's entertaining, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yours is entertaining too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think about it sometimes, like, I don't know. I'd be thinking about it sometimes. I just right now, like, I really enjoy making music. Like, one thing I would say for this year, when I get back, is like, if anybody visits my channel, Logfee, I have
let's get the banner. We're gonna plug you at the end in the description, but let's give a quick plug, so some of your outlets and stuff where they can find you.
All right, so currently I am in Mississippi. All right, I'm in the Gulf of Mexico, the deep south. Okay, on the beach area. All right, Biloxi, Mississippi. That's where I'm at right now. I haven't been on social media since I left. I actually I didn't delete my accounts, but I deleted the apps off my phone just to focus on my training.
Yeah.
But all of my social medias is Logfee, Logfe. That's the YouTube. That's the Twitter. That's the TikTok. There is a Snapchat. Actually, no, I don't have a Snapchat. But there's also the what's the other one? Instagram. Instagram definitely found me there. That's where I was the most active. And YouTube was the most active. And like I was saying, I was talking about on my banner. Right now, I'm not putting out music because I currently don't have none of my equipment with me to make music.
Yeah.
All right. But in my banner, when you visit my YouTube channel, it says I'll be back late 2024. That might be mid 2024. Because I come back in the spring. I come back May, June to like my studio area. So that's when I will start like making music. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna start putting music back out in the summertime. But for now, I got all my music is out right now that I have back, but I have nothing waiting for you guys besides like maybe one song that I had to. Right now, my computer's down too, so it's like a whole thing.
Yeah,
but, like it happened for a reason because like literally it happened right before I left.
Yeah,
so like it didn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
So right now, currently, there's no new music coming out for the next few months. But come summertime, fall, and winter, there's definitely gonna be some new log tree tracks and some new like different takes on how I perceive and project my stories in the music.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. And one thing too, like I haven't been on social media either because I just wanted to focus, like get this out the way first, you know what I'm saying? Like, work hard, play hard, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have fun making music, but I want to get this out the way so I can get a nice job too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing. If you're independent and you're creative, like you gotta find a way to pay the bills.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Music, podcast, unless you got hired with an agency like social media marketing company or a marketing company that needs people like that.
Yeah,
you're just gonna be making it for fun. Yeah, you're gonna be making it. This is good. This is definitely a space, especially if you're in it for the long run, where you gotta love it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
because if you're doing it just for the money, you might get it for the money, but it's not gonna be soulfully fun.
Yeah,
you're not gonna really enjoy it that well.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to get back to making music. That's one thing I've been waiting. That's why I was like actually excited you asked. Like, oh man, I want to talk about music, man. I really want to. Let's get into it because I am so excited to get back because like when I be a little bit of retrospective and I take a look back to 2023, I'm like, yo, I did a lot in 2023.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest amount of numbers I ever did. And like you said, there's only 1% of people. Like there's some people never even get 65,000 views on any video for YouTube. Like, so like for music alone, I'm like, yo, like
that's phenomenal.
I actually got some numbers. I got some numbers. And then SoundCloud randomly, I put out a song. I didn't put no promotion behind that. Like I said, I dropped a video, 2 songs. Go listen to them. And then like 1,000 plays out of nowhere. I'm like, oh snap! Like okay, people like that type of flow. They like that type of style. So I'm just like really excited. Like I was leading into saying because I'll be back late 2024. That this year, because I used to perform. I performed a few times, and I have been on the radio before.
Hell yeah!
I want to get back into performing my songs. So like, I'm definitely gonna be anybody who's watching this because you never know who watches anything, bro. You get hit up like, oh, I didn't even know you watch my videos. Anybody watching the Cosmic Podcast or anything that knows people and stuff like that want like artists to perform at venues or little side concerts or even at the stage at a bar or something like that, man. I want to perform. Like 2024, besides making music, I think one of the goals is at least like it's a small number. Just have a performance now.
Yeah, because hell yeah.
I performed at a block party right before right before COVID or like when COVID happened. There was like an outside party, but after like COVID got worse and worse, and I just kind of like other things got caught up.
Yeah,
but I performed. My first performance was very interesting. I performed at a club. Shout out to Club 2022 in Boston. Shout out to Club 2022 in Boston. They let my cousin in. I don't even know why. You have to be 21 plus. He was not even 18. He was holding the camera. I was like, all right, come in. So you got to see that. So we were in there. My friend got sued. It was me and my friend. This is a song got played on the radio, at the underground radio in Boston.
Hell yeah.
This is 2019. I performed at Club 2022. I remember it was my first performance ever. And I remember I had these like, it was cool because I had these two girls in front. They were like, they took out their phones, they started recording me. And I was like, it was really rapping going off. And then my second performance was in 2020, like during, like right before COVID got really crazy. Or during COVID, I forget. It was in 2020 though. And it was a block party in Norwich, Connecticut. And it was the biggest crowd I ever performed. There's like over 100 people there. And I was like, oh snap, like this is a little nerve wracking, but I did it. And then the people that hosted the party really liked it. They even watched my podcast. Like, I really enjoy your podcast. I keep that up too. So yeah, it was in 2020. That's when I started my podcast. It was 2020 summertime. I did the black party, and they really enjoyed it. And people really liked my music, and like people were dancing to it and stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, I want to get like that's another thing. I want to get back into like performing because that's another thing. Like the first time ever in my life, I actually emceed a fashion show in Southern.
Right? What? Tell me more about this. This sounds awesome. Sounds hilarious.
So my girlfriend, we weren't even dating at the time, but my girlfriend, she just graduated from Southern Connecticut University.
Shout out to the Owls. I'm an owl right now.
Are you on?
Yeah.
All right, where. Shout out to the Owls. Ooh, whatever they make it. I will make the who. Yeah. I don't know what their slogan is. All right. But she asked me because she was at my studio one day and we were just friends. And she was like, I used to tell her when I was younger, I used to help my friends DJ. And when I say help out, I wasn't be on the DJ set. Sometimes I'll grab the mic and scream, or I'll literally just be on stage with them, helping them bring in their gear. I was literally, a lot of times I was the helper, not the performer.
Yeah.
But, you know, to her, she just took that as like, because, you know, I'd be on stage, I'll grab the mic sometimes. Like, she took it like, I'm hosting, you know what I'm saying? Like, not too much, but like, you know, she perceived it that way because, you know, sometimes you try to make yourself look cool too. But it was true though. I helped my friends. Like they had a set called Next Gen of Sounds. They DJ all throughout Western Mass and Southern Mass, just parties, all girl colleges, fraternities, sororities, club parties, all that, just after parties, all of that. So it was fun. It was definitely fun.
Hell yeah, that sounds wild.
But she came. She's like, yeah, I remember you talking about you used to help your friends DJ and stuff like that. So would you guys be interested in being the DJ and you being the host for the fashion show? I was like, yeah, I could do that, you know. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But my friend, like, he was leaving to go overseas to I think military. So he was also in the army. And I was like, he's like, let's do it. Like, let's look back and say we just did it for no reason. Let's do it. I was like, all right. So I told her, like, yeah, we could do that. Yo, honestly, being an MC, like a master of ceremonies, and hosting a fashion show is way different than just performing. Like, one thing, they want you to be funny. You know what I'm saying? I did make them laugh a few times, but I was nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh. Like, I got in front of the stage. It was a huge stage. You know the auditorium, like that big stage in Southern? I'm not sure if you've been there.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know what the hall's called, but it's like this, where they have this indoor stage at, like the big, all the auditorium, the stadium, not the stadium, the seating.
I know they got one in like the student center. It's like if you go past the bridge, it's on the right.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same one. It's big in there. It's big. They have the center stage where people perform. They have like their concerts, indoor concerts there.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I remember they gave me the mic. And like I'm supposed to, talk, and like I don't have a script or anything. You just gotta say, "Welcome." Yo, when I first got in front of everybody, tell me how the mic. I was talking too fast first.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hi, everybody. This welcome to the center," and the mic said, "Ew." I put the mic away from me. I was like, "Why is it making this noise?" And everybody's just staring at me. I'm like, in my head, like I can't freeze up. I got this. You gotta just keep talking. So then I get in the mic and I'm like, "Hi guys, we're gonna show you a nice time. Enjoy the time." My friend said he said I was mediocre, average, 5 out of 10. I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
For my first time ever, I'm a 5 out of 10.
It's not bad, like
I'm not memorable, and I'm not like, but I'm also not gonna be that forgettable. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like I was there. He did his job. Oh man, I tell you, that was different. Like you get like every time they had to like. 5 minutes is never as long as you think until you're in front of like over 100 people just looking at you. And it's like, yeah, that's me right there like, talking to you. Like I made some jokes. I remember it was the fashion show theme was based on Joker and Quinn.
Oh.
Yeah. So like it was very punk-esque rock with Joker and Quinn infused with it because Harley Quinn is very punk right now. Like she's very like got the spikes and like, yeah, what are you doing, Puddin'? Like stuff like that. So I remember like I made a joke between Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship. I told the crowd, I was like, because I'm just trying to find anything. So I'm like, hey, so like I was like, you know what celebrity couple reminds me of Joker and Quinn? And everybody was like, what? And I was like, I'm just like, you know what? I was like, the couple that reminds me of Harley and Quinn. I mean, Joker and Harley Quinn is Kreishan, Rock, and Blueface. And that made them all laugh. And I was like, I don't know how I did that. Yeah, it made them laugh. They started laughing. I was like, yeah, isn't that crazy? Because I was like, you got to be, one thing about being MC, you have to be super charismatic and be out there. Yeah. And like, I'm not going to hold you. I was coming from like just being like, because life in general is life. You know what I'm saying? So like you go through the ups and downs. I was coming from a down period where I was in like a horrible relationship. Like it never really worked. The relationship I was in never really worked, never clicked. And it kind of, you be in a bad relationship or ever experienced that, kind of just it doesn't make it kind of messes with your character,
Yeah.
So like I told myself like I'm gonna have to start doing things just at least to put myself out there because that's the only thing I can do to like counteract that. So that's why like it's not the only reason why I did it, but because I also liked my girl, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't my girl, but I had, like
you gotta impress her, you gotta.
That was gonna be my girl regardless. I knew it for a long while, but I was like, I'll do it just because I'm just like that. I would most of the time I wouldn't say no to things. Like I'm always down to try something new. So I went out there, man, and I got to the end of it. And I was like, yo, I did that. Like I actually hosted for like an hour and a half to 2 hours of like just being out in front of people. I got the crowd to scream sometimes. Sometimes the crowd was dead, and I'm like, what do I say? What do I do? But you just gotta practice. So that's why I want to get out and like perform in front of people too, because then your face is out there more. People like your music and all that.
Yeah.
One thing I'm actually an artist, and I actually make some good music. So like I already know if I'm out there in front of people, and they're gonna be like, "Who's that guy? I want to listen to his music and stuff like that." So
100%.
2024. Catch me at your next local place that performs.
Hell yeah. Yeah, let's get this dude some venues in the Connecticut area, man. New England area. Man. Like we gotta hook this guy up. Hopefully people reach out to you. Hopefully this sees the right people. They're like, hey, come to our bar, come to our freaking club. Do some EDM rap, just like.
Yeah, I don't have no EDM rap yet, but I will make some EDM rap because that's been in my journal as like I'm on to-do list. Like make an EDM rap song or something like that. So. Yeah, anybody listening, man, like, yo, tune into Log Fee. Check me out.
Yeah, 100.
See where everything's going.
100%. 100%. I got a few more questions for you. Okay. So one of the last ones. If you could sit down with any musician, artist of any time period, like of all time, have dinner and then do a collab with, and just pick their brain, like they'd be your mentor for a day, who would it be?
Russ. Surprisingly, Russ.
Really?
You ever heard Russ? Yeah.
No.
Oh, so Russ. Oh man. I mean, if I show you him, maybe you've seen him. Yeah. I'm glad this is on my phone, so I can just pull up a picture of Russ. Yeah. The rapper. This guy. He's like some Italian guy from Atlanta. It's weird, right? You think it's like some white guy from Atlanta, right? It's like Russ.
Really? No, I don't think I've ever seen him.
He makes phenomenal music.
Really?
He makes phenomenal music, man. I just shout out to him. Like, he's not like my all-time favorite artist. Like, all-time favorite, like, it'd be like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole.
Yeah.
But like somebody who just did it. He created his music similar to me. Like, he makes his own beats. He raps. He audio engineers his own songs. And he has such a unique flow. And he built up to be independent.
Yeah.
Before he ever signed with an artist, like a record label. So he had his own domino pieces, his own chess pieces.
Yeah.
A lot of like, I'm not going to speak for the whole industry, but one way the record labels get you is that you have nothing to give. Yeah. You have no back end besides you're talented.
Yeah.
But guess what? There's a lot of other people that are talented.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. The thing is, the record labels are a business. And if you don't have any equity in as an artist for yourself besides talent, they could give you any kind of deal they want. And if you don't accept it, depending on how valuable you are they gonna compromise with you?
Yeah.
He himself built up. I could just say he probably already had millions of fans already, and he signed with a label to get $2 million, and he could own his 50%. He could own his masters. Damn. He could own certain things. Like he could just like I don't know all his ins and outs of his contract, but it was just him. Like he was able to ask and get what he wants because he built up the equity in his own voice and his own fan base.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't like that's why like if I had to go sit down and collab, I'll do it with Russ. Now he's not the only rapper I'll collab, but like just like pick his brain and all that and like learn the ins and outs, like because I like the independent. Because like one thing about being independent, I like you're not making no quotas for anybody, and you can just make your songs. You know what I'm saying? The songs that your fans came for. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really care about being multi-million-dollar like in everybody's face. I'll be satisfied with 20,000 loyal fans. Like 20,000 loyal fans, that's 5,000 shirts sold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
that's true. That's true.
Like honestly, 20,000 loyal fans, that's more because they're all loyal.
Yeah.
Like I don't like so him, Russ. He'll be the one I'll sit down like and pick his brain and like learn more because he's like his work ethic is similar to mine.
Yeah.
I never like looked into the work. Like I really like J. Cole. I really like Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I really like Drake, his songs and stuff like that too. Yeah. But when it came to like work ethic, I never looked into their work ethic besides like they were trying to get to their labels, they're trying to do this. I don't get me wrong, they're the top rappers in the game, J. Cole and Kendrick and Drake. Yeah. I wouldn't say like Russ, he's like top independent, but he's not the top in the game.
Yeah.
But like just as like a person, if I had to sit down as like any rapper, it would be Russ just to learn how he talks. Like he's more like for me, I feel like he gets it. He gets like the industry. Like he knows like these are not your friends. Like they see you as a number sign and a dollar sign, and they will take advantage of you. So you better just build yourself up. Don't let them build you up because if they build you up, they can take you down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, yeah, surprisingly, maybe I don't know if you expected something you know.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was. I was like,
he made this song. You ever heard the song? What you want, what you want, what you want. Dollar signs, I know what you want. You ever heard that song?
I think so. Yeah.
And then he's like, losing control now. Feeling the soul now. I forget how it goes. Like it's just.
I think so. I think.
Russ lyrics. I can say if I see the lyrics, it starts like, she's falling in love now, losing control now, fighting the truth, trying to hide, but I think it's all right, girl.
I think so. I
think it's all right, girl. That's one of his biggest songs.
Damn.
But honestly, if I played you his biggest songs, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll definitely know.
Yeah.
He's not. The thing is, he's independent. So one thing about the labels is that if you're not under them, they're not gonna push you.
Yeah.
So like you gotta kind of be there when he was like really popping to like now to know about Russ, because I was a fan of Russ when I first heard it, like his songs in 2015. Mm-hmm. But this is just business in general. Like if you're not under the label, like most of the advertisement is not gonna go to independent artists. Like I'd be finding independent artists that have like tons of views, and I'm like, I don't even know you. Why I don't know you? Yeah. And then when you start to realize like the labels, the advertisement money is getting poured into the people that are under the labels because they want their product to be pushed out on the shelves. Kind of like food. Like I want my freaking chicken nuggets, advertised to everywhere. So I can understand why you don't know him.
Yeah.
But that's wild. The guy, Russ. Shout out to Russ, man.
I like the answer though. I like the answer because that was unique, dude. It's like, again, going back to authenticity, just keeping it real and independent music, they're going to like kind of sway you or be like, you can't, you got to talk about this or that. And then what you said at the beginning about external, everything coming from outside in, I feel like when you're part of a label that kind of, not to get conspiracy theory, but like that kind of hit, they're like, you should, push you into a certain way rather than letting you be an artist, letting you be creative. Right?
I heard some weird conspiracies. Like they already have the artist made. They just need a person to put like they need a person to step into the fucking suit. Like it's weird. Like Like, all right, you can step into this suit.
Yeah, you fit the role.
Like, all right, you literally just need to step into this place. Everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So yeah, that's the guy I'll sit down, like pick his brain and stuff like that. We'll probably have similar output like thoughts too, because like I'm big. Like for me, like the one thing he doesn't do that I do is I actually make my own videos.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that.
Oh.
He did what he did. He's really good. I'm not like but he's phenomenal at producing beats, audio engineering, and making songs. I just like for me, I guess when it comes, I just like I have a vision sometimes with videos, and the videos are probably out of everything the most expensive thing to get done when it comes to music, because it takes more. It's editing, like the process of like finding. You can buy a beat for like $20, or you can use a free beat. You know what I'm saying? And then like all you need to do is pay for studio time, and that could be arranged from like $20 an hour to like the most expensive, like thousands of dollars an hour. So videos though, like on average, your local videographer, depending if you know him or not, should be around like $200.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I'm saying? So if you as someone who doesn't have a lot of money, because I'll say artists don't have a lot of money, especially starting off.
Yeah.
If you already spent $60 at the studio to record a song and $60 on a beat, then like that's $120. Now you have to go pay for a $200 video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It literally out equates the whole creation of the song. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, that's that, man. That's that. Yeah.
100%, dude. That was a dope ass answer. I mean, that's wild to think about too. Like, because I have a buddy. He breeds coral. He's actually the co-host of the show.
Okay.
And he breeds coral for his day job. And the videographer that they have gets paid good. And I was like, is he solely for your guys' company? He's like, no, he's freelance. Like, he has like 10 different customers, and it's the same thing. Like he does like 200. I don't want to put out business, but I think it's around like 200 an hour at minimum sometimes. And he even like goes higher if it's a bigger corporate thing. Like if it's scaled up or a bigger project, it's more than that. And I was like, the fact that you know how to actually like do your own videography and like edit your own stuff and like color grade. Cause like I noticed that too, is like the mood. Every single music video, the mood is tied with like the color grading. Is that a legit thing, or was I like hallucinating?
No, that's like subconscious what I do, because I did take a lot of time looking at color grading.
Yeah.
And one thing I love about I have the Black Magic Cinema 6K pocket camera. It's a cinema camera. It costs like $3,000 because I got the biggest package, which was the extended battery.
Hell yeah.
The freaking the EV digital viewfinder, and then the camera itself. So that cost like all in total like $3,000 when I first got it. And then the lens is not even part of that. The lens is $800. I got a Sigma 35mm prime camera. So like the whole setup that I rock is like 4,000 plus.
Yeah.
But I did that during COVID, where like everybody's like, let me go swipe my credit card and stuff like
right.
that. Like, oh man, I'm glad I'm out of COVID.
Yeah.
Those are paid off, thank God.
Yeah.
But I have it. I have the equipment, so I'm gonna take care of it.
Hell yeah.
And I did a lot of like color grading. Like just the one thing about it is the color grade. The preset color grades, the logs that you put on are really good.
Yeah.
And I used to want to color grade. I used to work out of Adobe Premiere, and I'll edit my videos that way. And I used to use I still sometimes use Filmora, but I use like DaVinci Resolve.
That's what I use. I love DaVinci.
I love DaVinci Resolve, but DaVinci Resolve, when you buy that camera, the Black Magic, it comes with a copy of it, because
like the full
DaVinci. Yeah.
Damn.
So I have full DaVinci Resolve. So I'm just like, sometimes I get into color grade, and I have to learn more with color grading in DaVinci Resolve, because I actually learned how to color grade. I'm not the greatest, but I learned a little bit of color grading in Adobe Premiere to the point where now I'm color grading my videos, and I can make them look more cinematic. Yeah. So the biggest thing, I did a lot of research. I guess the thing if you don't forget, like to even get to the point I'm at, it's so much hours of just looking up videos and reading stuff. Like one of the things I realized while we're filming is that if you have your camera set to 50 frames per second, the current that runs through our outlet at 8, the alternating current runs at 60 hertz. So if your camera's at 50 frames per second, there's a fluttering on screens.
Oh, damn.
Because it's directly plugged in, and alternating current, the electricity pulls back and forth, so it's a wave.
Oh,
so if your shutter speed is at 50 frames, you're cutting the wave halfway, so you get a flutter. If you put it at 60 frames together, they go inside, so you won't get that shutter speed.
Damn.
But how would you know that? So I remember my friend, he started doing videography. I told him that right away. Like, yo, if you want to do videography, remember this. If you're at 60 frames, it's good for America. 50 frames is good for Europe. All right, because Europe, their AC runs at 50 frames per second. Their AC runs at 50 hertz.
Okay.
The wall outlets. So that's one thing. I remember I did a music video for somebody because I actually shot videos for people too.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where the lights are fluttering, and I'm like, why is it fluttering in the background? Like, it's not happening in real life. Why is my camera picking that up? And then that's when you realize, as you do more research, you can find stuff. So like, I put so much time and hours just like trying to figure out. And one of the biggest things I realized that, it doesn't, like, color grading does matter, especially for a high professional.
Yeah.
The one thing I say people get good at when they're doing videos is learning how lighting works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learning angles and lighting. Mm-hmm. Because if you discover lighting, then that's one thing that's very cheap. You could put something up, you could mess with the lighting around, and you could create the scene that you kind of want if you understand lighting well. Yeah. And I'm not best at it, but I just all the tidbits like videographers and cinematographers say, like, get good with lighting. Yeah. And you can make your iPhone be cinematic. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
So like really, my attention is like, I think about when I'm like setting the scenes in my videos, my music videos, I do think about like how it's going to look. Yeah. I want something to look a certain way. Yeah. So I have videos like, all right, maybe this time of day or this time of day or just trying to make it a point where it's like cohesive, like that's all. I'm trying to make it cohesive so it can just attach and like the feeling, the emotion could come out, So I definitely I love that whole space. Like, it's definitely sometimes tedious because like I want to get to the point, like I'm an artist at the end of the day, but like since I decided to do it all on my own for the most part, when it comes to creating my projects, I was like, all right, I have to learn this way. So like the best part is like creating the song, but like I love like one thing I do love about if you're just an artist by yourself, like you just create the song and then now everything else is taken care of. Like you just pay somebody. I don't have that type of money yet where I could just go. Like, I spent it back then buying all the equipment, but I don't have the money. Like, okay, this is taken care of. You pay this guy, pay this guy, pay this guy. Now all you really had to do was rap on that song, create something amazing, and then now everybody else who's like expertise in their field are gonna create something amazing with your song. So, but yeah, man. Thank you about the scenes like that. That's the goal in total, though. It's like make the music video kind of match the song in a way. Sometimes there's songs where you could make a song and you don't have to make the music video match, but like that's the goal. So I'm glad like that's actually resonating like the viewer itself. Yeah.
I was like, because I was like looking through and I'm like I know because we did that short film, that when we were hanging out, but like I was looking at it, I'm like, dude, like the cinematography is on point, and then like even if you were just rapping and that like you were just rapping and going at it and you're using hand signals or you're doing like even a little dance or whatever, you would like it would cut or fade to like different like you would go from the bottom up or the top down or like side to side or like different lightings and stuff every so often. I was like, that's really sick. And then I was like, wait a second. Like I saw some songs like you had like less saturated and those were kind of like the slower, like the sadder songs. And you had some that were like really dark. And those were like your anger or angsty or like you were saying some like really like, maybe dark stuff. And I was like, he's onto something. This guy is like a cinematic genius right here. Cause he's like putting the pieces together. And I was like, I had to ask you. I was like, I have to ask you about that. Cause I was like, that's freaking cool.
Yeah. I would, the definitive answer, I do take time to think about how they're gonna come out. Yeah, because then you're doing videos like you're at the editing screen. You're like, how do I create something a little bit more interesting? Now with a podcast, I think the only stuff like I've done like podcasts before. The only stuff like that makes it a little bit more if you guys are sitting together. Yeah, and then you have different angles, kind of like Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah, where they like, I've done podcasts. You cut back and forth for the thing like that, and certain things like that. I mean, the other stuff, I guess, is like a cool thing, like depending on how good your PR guy is with the copyright and all that. If you're even that big of a podcast, I have a PR guy. Yeah, it's like the stuff you guys talk about on a podcast, you could bring it up to the screen. Like, look, everybody, this is what we're talking about. This is the thing. And with Joe Rogan does, like,
he's like, pull this up, Jamie. He's like, Jamie, pull this up.
Jamie, pull up bears riding gorillas.
And you're just like, dude, what's going on?
This Joe Rogan talks about animals, dude, all the time. A gorilla. Like, it just.
So what do you think? What do you think would win? You have the big Kodiak grizzly bear, and I mean these things are big. Like, look at that. That's an animal.
Yeah, that's an
animal.
And
you have a gorilla. I mean, look at those things got fangs. Like, I mean, they're like a human, but like 10 times the size. What do you think? What do you think? And the guy's like some kind of like doctor, and he's like, I don't know, Joe. I don't really know. You know, maybe the gorilla. He's like, a gorilla? No, it's a Kodiak bear.
The Kodiak bear has these claws. The gorilla, they just got hands. You can't punch a Kodiak bear down. Yeah, man. But yeah, he definitely he's the master at podcast. He's the number one podcast in the world. Like, and it's so simple. Like, that's the thing. Like, yeah.
I mean,
so if you just think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, adding to the video, just thinking about it. And one thing too, he sets up his background. His studio looks nice. All of that, like, everything goes into place. So I'm glad like my videos are showing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that's one thing I started realizing. Let me tell a little bit more of a story too, because the one thing is that you don't have someone holding the camera and filming you. I had one person do that a few times, but like, really, it's if it's just me and it's a tripod, I got to tell a story more, because trying to be animated and move around, like, I'm just gonna be one person. Like, there's some songs I could do that, but I can't. I don't want to do that very song. So like, let me try to tell a story. So like, feel like Heaven, I told a story in a way.
You're starting off sleeping, in the bed.
Sleeping, then I went to go brush my teeth, and I want to go put on a shirt and a freaking mask. Like, what am I going to do? Like, that's the reason. I don't even know I did the mask. I was like, what am I actually going to do right now? I put on a mask, and even the song has a little bit of story. Like, I feel like I left the refrigerator door open, like, at the end. Like, it just is like a very interesting song. So definitely 100%. Like, you know what? Let me start telling a story just to make people, like, one song I didn't even know it would do this good with numbers. I think it got like 900 views. Two of them. One got 1,000. The other one got like almost 1,000. It was called. I made this song in 2021. I can't forget. I'm thinking about this song. It's called some song. Freaking. I like it too. Hey, if you guys Google me, I have my own Google page now.
Hell yeah! There we go.
Like, I'm the first. If you type in log fee on Google, literally, it's just me.
Jamie, pull it up, Jamie.
Jamie, pull it up right now, Jamie.
Pull up log fee.
Freaking, what's the song called? It's called Log Fee Famous. And I did a little bit of acting in there. I told a story, and I got 902 views. And then this song called it's a funny song that me and my friend Gibbs made. You know, Gibbs is your friend too, but this song called 14 Minutes of Free Cellular Data.
That's the song name?
That's the song name. All right. Because the song is actually 14 minutes long in real life. But I took 3 minutes and 57 seconds of it and made it a music video. And that one got 1.2K. And I just like, it's such a simple video. I have these LED lights that flash and turn different colors. I set them to red, and I set the camera ISO down to low. And then I just stood there and rapped the song in low light. You can't even see my mouth. You can't see me, but you just see a silhouette of me. And that silhouette and all that, I was just making this. I honestly, sometimes Bill Gates, I think it was like this rich guy or Bill Gates, somebody like that. He said, I'll hire a lazy person because they'll find an easier way to do the job. I was being lazy that day. I didn't want to go super intricate. So I was like, let me get creative in a way it can still portray something. And literally, I did this where it was the easiest one. I could just sit in one position, have the lights flicker while the song's playing, and I could just rap. You don't even see my mouth really that often. You can't even see my skin color. I'm just a silhouette. And then I have 1.2K views on that video.
And
I'm like, okay.
All right.
All right.
Dude, because it's got that artistic value to it, you know? People, like, especially with your music, they're gonna feel, you know, they're gonna start feeling the emotion that's being played on the cinema as they're watching it and as they're listening, you know?
Yes, that is true. The context is really, like, if you see someone start like crying and they have like super sad music, you feel even sadder. But if someone's crying at super legit music, they may be crying of joy. You never know. It's like music and a visual go hand in hand. Like what you're trying to portray.
Yeah,
it really does. It really does.
Hell yeah, man. Mm-hmm. So I got one final question to ask you. So I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. You're coming back mid to late 2024. Where do you see within the next 1 to 2 years? You know, you Logfy, where do you see yourself going as an artist, maybe as a podcaster? We'll see. You know, what's next in the chapters, you know?
So for next, honestly, it's just like I said before, like definitely just, you know, more like in my opinion, like more like tell story music, you know. So I really want to tell the story, more like storytelling visuals. Definitely want to improve on everything, and definitely want to be at shows, you know. Like I just want to I like sometimes I already know from like what I did last year that the fan base and just like the following is gonna grow. And I'm actually gonna not just be like, all right, where's my 5 to 10 loyal fans at? This time's gonna be 30 fans. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be at least 100 loyal fans that tune in every day, which is gonna be amazing. So it's definitely just creating more of like the thing is, for the next 1 to 2 years, I see myself it's just building a more reliable, stable connection to the listener. Like they could like that's the only thing I want to do. I want them to know that they could depend on me for putting out music. That's what I really want to do. Like they're gonna know like, oh, you know, Logfy, Demetrius, whatever if they know my name. But Logfy, like I know that within a month or two I'm gonna get something new going out. Like I could come back and listen to him. He's putting out music. I just want them to like to depend on that. You know what I'm saying? Like just how you depend like your show comes out every Monday. Like like Logfy has this new song out and he's constantly putting out new music for us to digest and like interpret in our own lives. So that's what I want in the next 1 to 2 years. Like 100%. Because if I build that connection, then only thing is going to be up from there. And I already started last year, so that's exactly where I see myself building that up and, you know, doing performances and stuff like that. And that's where I see it, just building that connection up.
100%, dude. Yeah, I see you. You're gonna do it. I see you going far with this, man. I see it. I feel
appreciate that.
I was listening to your music. I'm like, you gotta. And here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm not well versed, but like, I feel like your style of music. There hasn't been too many people. Maybe there is, but you're hitting a certain like you're unique. There hasn't been too many. There isn't any Logfys out there yet. You know.
That's what I always say.
You're already hitting it. You know.
There's one time I was gonna change my name to backwards E because I used to be a math major in college. Like fun fact, I never did it before because I can't find a symbol for it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll probably make a brand or a shirt, and that will be the logo. But with Logfy, in theoretical math, I forgot what it's called. It's like differential math or something. It's where you prove theories. Like you can't just do math anymore. You don't even do math equations. So I was doing I was a mathematician in college. I never finished. I dropped out of college. College dropout, baby. Like, I'm in the military though, so I don't drop out. You know, but when I was in college, I was a math major, and I did calc, got an A in calc. I was in calc 2. That's the semester I dropped out. But in theoretical math, there's this symbol that's a backwards E with an exclamation point, and it stands for there's only one that exists. There's nothing, like there's no other number in infinity. This is the only thing that exists. And I was like, wow. And I was thinking about putting my Logfy and taking that backwards E with exclamation point and using that as like only one. And that's what it is. Like that's all I always got in my career. Like people say you're you sometimes it's said in a good way, sometimes it's said in a bad way. Either or, I think both sides is good. It's good on me. Like
hell yeah.
It's definitely I don't ever see there's nobody doing what I'm doing, like how I rap, how I style and stuff like that. So that's why I know like the only way for me to grow that fame, I had to keep going, because if I stop, I'm not going nowhere. And my music is like, I got to keep going. I got to be the reason why I grow, you know? So
100%. There is no stopping. There is no other option. It is the only option.
Exactly.
The
only option is forward. All right. I'm like a river. I'm going to the ocean.
Thank you for listening. Consider absolutely smashing the subscribe button for more content like this.